Welcome to the CyberTech Podcast, inside the minds of everyday IT and cyber pros. Your host, Mike Fierros, will dive deep into the world of IT and cybersecurity, bringing you the stories and insights of professionals who are making waves in the field. From how they got started, to their most exciting projects, and their advice for aspiring tech enthusiasts, we cover it all. So, whether you're an industry veteran or just getting started, join us as we explore the fascinating minds behind the technology that shapes our world. Let's get started.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Mike Fierros, and you're listening to the CyberTech Podcast, inside the minds of everyday IT and cyber pros. This is episode number 1, and for episode number 1, we have Luis Garcia Jr. He's a network systems administrator at Yuma County Sheriff's Office, and we have him right here in the podcast. How's it going, Luis?
It's good. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks, man, for taking your time to be on this first episode of the CyberTech Podcast. I'm really excited.
Yeah, no problem. It's an honor to be with you and link up and have this conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Especially for folks that are trying to get into IT, cybersecurity. This is going to be a platform that's going to help them. And Luis, go ahead, share a little about your background, where you're from, how did you get started in IT cybersecurity?
Yeah, so my name is Luis Garcia Jr. Actually not originally from Arizona, not from Yuma, not even from Arizona. I moved here from Texas. I used to live in Laredo. I've been in IT about 7 years now in different various roles. Started in help desk, moved up to security. I was in a SOC. Then I moved over here to San Luis to work with the city of San Luis as the network security administrator. And then eventually went to the private sector. Went to work for CDW, which if you work in the government, I'm sure you've heard of them before. They're a big reseller. And then I eventually left there and came here to the Yuma County Sheriff's Office to be the network systems administrator. And I broke into IT. It was kind of a weird story, I would say. So I have an associate's degree in cybersecurity from community college in Laredo, Texas. Part of that was doing an internship for that associates, and at the end of that, after being there, I think a couple months between school and all that, I actually was selling ice cream out of a car. That was kind of my side gig at the time to make a little extra money. And during that, I was at a softball tournament and ran into one of the directors at the time, or I think he was going to become director of the WIC, which is women, infant, children. They help out the moms who get pregnant with different supplies and stuff, and formula and just food and stuff to make sure that their baby is nourished and taken care of. And I think that they continue that until the age of 5. But basically, after I saw him kind of linked up, he said, "Hey, how come you guys haven't you showed up?" And all that stuff, because I hadn't been there anymore because I was taking some summer courses, so couldn't really balance it all out with work and all that. I kind of told him the story, I'm in school, and he said, "Give me a call." So gave him a call, and from there I just kind of got a job there. I started as a contractor originally, and then from there eventually I kind of proved my worth and proved myself to everyone there, and they gave me a full-time role, and I took over the women, infant, children stuff as their first IT guy, and kind of built from there. They were moving to the cloud, so they needed someone to kind of assist them with that.
That's awesome. That's awesome how you get into IT cybersecurity. Is this something you always wanted to get into, Luis?
Truthfully, not originally. Growing up, I really wanted to be a doctor. I was pretty set on that, and then eventually in high school, I started. Anonymous was big around that time, and I thought that was so fascinating. Hacking, all that stuff. So it kind of took me interest away from being a doctor, and then I actually went into IT. That was kind of my goal, I guess, because cybersecurity. I got fascinated by hacking. Obviously, I didn't want to be a black hat, but just that whole scene was pretty interesting to me. So it kind of changed what I wanted to do.
That's awesome. Is there anybody that really kind of took you under their wing, just kind of show you the ropes?
Yeah, I have an uncle actually. He's a director of security, IT security, for one of the departments in Texas, and he kind of showed me the way, at least a little bit initially. And he's always been a great mentor to me, and whenever I have questions or need help, he's always there to help me and kind of help me, expand my skill set and become more knowledgeable in different things. I was so focused on security that I didn't, know that there was networking. I didn't really pay attention to that stuff until I got into college, and that's when I learned about Cisco and networking and kind of how I got into that. I guess you'd say my first official IT class, I guess. But yeah, that's something I recommend. That if you're going into cybersecurity, you try to at least learn the network fundamentals, because you can't really secure what you don't understand. So it's something I would say is important.
No, that's a really good tip, especially just us in the IT cybersecurity fields. We're always constantly learning, so that's got to be something you got to be focused on. Yeah, definitely, for sure. If you were to say what would be good starting point for like certification, I always get to ask the question: should I get my degree through college or should I get my certification? What do you think is the best way to get into the field?
I think truthfully the best way is just get experience, and I know that's easier said than done, but one thing I'd recommend is, most computers now can handle spinning up VMs, spinning up different type of things, and that's a good way to learn for free and get a lot of experience before you get your first IT job. For networking, there's Packet Tracer. That's a good way to kind of get your feet wet with the networking portion. That's also free. Cisco has that for free. So my thing mostly I would say is just get experience and kind of show what you know. I have a degree. I think it's helped me a little bit. My bachelor's, not really. But I think what's really helped me is just the experience. And I actually have a server here at my house where I kind of spin things up and just have labs and do different trainings and stuff. So there's that. You don't need to, I wouldn't say, start with a server. They can get a little bit expensive, but you have a computer that you can spin up a VM, you can learn AD for free, you can learn various things for free or cheap, and especially on the networking side, like I mentioned, the Packet Tracer, that's a big one for getting your feet wet and just learning about routing. It may not be that in-depth in the sense that you might know learn advanced things, but you can learn the entry-level stuff, and from there definitely build on that knowledge and get a little bit more proficient.
No, I think that's really good, especially getting a good firm foundation at first and just excelling from there. I think that you hit it right in the coffin, Luis. That's something that's even now, like I've been in IT cybersecurity now, it's like you never stop learning, and those foundations you always want to keep those skill sets up. So Luis, what would you say that inspired you once you got into IT and cybersecurity, or gave you the interest from your uncle?
I think now that I think about it, I had interest just as a child as well. I remember I was like 8 years old and my family had a computer, family PC, and I used to be on YouTube and stuff. And something I do, which I didn't even understand at the time to play, was I would do like DNS poisoning. So I would edit the host file. So let's say my family wanted to go to yahoo.com, it would go to another website and I get frustrated. And I like little pranks and stuff. That seemed pretty interesting at the time to be able to kind of tell the computer what to do and stuff like that. I think I just had like an early interest, as I mentioned, and then from there I kind of learned a little bit more about IT and all kind of fields that are in there, cybersecurity, like I mentioned with the anonymous stuff, and the networking when I got into college. It just kind of seemed interesting, and I definitely looked into like what are my pathways and kind of what is the viability of this kind of career pathway, and I just looked around and said everything is computers, everything is stuff like that. So definitely a feature in that, and so far I think that it's worked out for me. I've done pretty well in my career.
That's awesome. What's your project to date? Something that you worked on? Yeah, either worked on professionally at your job or personally.
My favorite project was I did some stuff for Trader Joe's. I thought was interesting.
Nice.
It's like an SD-WAN project. That was pretty cool. I got to help them out and do some redundancy and stuff. I don't know like one like specifics, but basically it was just cool to help them set up and have some backup because their main links went down. And actually going to some of the stores were in the area in Phoenix, and I was able to kind of see exactly, go visit them and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool, just working on like kind of some bigger companies and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
So it was pretty cool.
What do you do when you're not working in cybersecurity or IT?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I kind of do a lot of studying even outside of work, and Like I
Nice.
mentioned, I was serving and stuff. But I find my favorite thing to do outside of work is football season, to be honest. I really like watching the games and football. And recently got into grilling. So that's been pretty cool.
Nice.
I like to travel as well. Kind of being from, Texas, I didn't ever really imagine being able to go to places like LA, Chicago, New York. That's kind of what kind of keeps me driven as far as like stuff in IT is like getting some of the places I've been. But I like travel, like sports, like to grill. Kind of like my main things, I would say, just sports and grilling. I play video games once in a while, but I haven't really found anything that's piqued my interest lately. But yeah, I would say
Nice.
it's just depends on the day.
Nice. What do you like to grill? Like, what's your favorite
uh,
like steak or?
I'm not like expert. I kind of really just decided to start doing it recently. But I've just kind of kept it simple for now, like burgers, hot dogs. I made some carne asada.
Oh, there we go.
I haven't broken into that like kind of steak stuff yet. I'm just kind of taking it slow for now to make sure I got it
Nice.
down.
True. Yeah, that's true. Luis, what advice would you give or guidance to someone in high school or in college trying to figure out how to get into IT cybersecurity? What kind of guidance would you give them?
I guess my advice would be just lab up stuff, get experience in that. It's really hard, I would say, unfortunately, to break into the field. But that shouldn't stop you from trying to get experience, try to get hands on, so that when that opportunity does come up, you're ready and you can kind of show off, well, I know this, I know that. That's kind of a big one for me. Another one is just don't give up. I kind of had I mentioned, a weird way to get in the field. I want to say it's a little bit lucky the way I got into just kind of knowing people. I would really try to network and get to talk to people and kind of see, make friends with people. That's the best thing I can do for you. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Like they say, if you never ask, the answer is always no. And I think that kind of
Sure.
networking with the right people and just kind of asking questions has really gotten me a lot of things that probably wouldn't have experience otherwise. Like, for example, I went to New York just because I kind of volunteered and kind of asked, like, hey, can I do that for a customer? And had I kind of spoken up and said, hey, I'm interested in doing this. Is there any way I can be involved? Wouldn't have happened. So I would say just don't be afraid to ask questions. Try to network with people. Try to find a mentor. I guess it would be big. Speaking of that, if anybody wants to talk or has any questions or just want someone to kind of bounce the ideas off of or stuff like that, just hit me up. I'm definitely interested in helping out the community and helping out people to get into the field or just any questions about what I do specifically, kind of just anything like that. I'm definitely down to help. I want to help the community and help people feel like they're not alone. Because sometimes you can feel like you're alone in this, and it can be frustrating. Like I mentioned, it can be difficult. But I'm here to help if anyone's interested.
Yeah, whether you're in college or in high school, even junior high, and thinking about getting into IT, cybersecurity, or you're already in the workforce and you're thinking about a career, maybe in IT, cybersecurity, you want to switch to the field. This is something that's gonna definitely help you.
Yeah, definitely. Like Mike was saying, when you're in high school, it doesn't matter if you're in high school, you're in college, or even an adult. The resources are out there for sure, guys. The internet, YouTube, university, it's all out there. I definitely recommend going out there and learning. I mean, I feel like a lot of my learning has been, of course, my career and stuff, but it's been a lot of my own time spent, looking at YouTube, labbing things up. And things are even more accessible now than they were when I was in high school. High schools are teaching Cisco class, they're teaching IT classes, all this kind of IT subjects and stuff like that. And colleges, I feel like a lot more of them are doing IT kind of degrees in Cisco Academy stuff. And like I mentioned, the Cisco NetAcad or PackTracer, it's free, right? So, I mean, the resources are out there. And if you guys ever have any questions about resources or, stuff like that, you can definitely just hit me up. I'm here to help. And I want to make sure that I want to inspire people and just kind of help them change their life. And it doesn't matter, like I mentioned, if you're young, younger, high school, college, even if you're older. I've had buddies that switch careers later in life. Like I have a friend of mine that he used to work in the restaurant industry. He got his CCNA, and now he works at a college here in Arizona.
That's awesome.
And another thing I'd mention is that don't be afraid to work in help desk. I feel like help desk is very beneficial. I got to touch a lot of things in my first job that have helped me even to this day. So I don't poo-poo on help desk. I feel like I've seen a lot of that recently where people are like, I don't want to work help desk, but it's a very valuable experience, especially once you get that first job. It's a lot easier to kind of go to job 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So don't be afraid to kind of grind it out a little bit there in the help desk, or the help desk, some people call it.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's a great experience. And like I said, for the most part, you're going to get to touch a lot of things. So I'd recommend that as well.
That's a good point, Luis. Just briefly, you touched on help desk. Yeah, help desk, you touch each technology, networking, software. You get to work with the network guys. You get to work with some cybersecurity guys. Developers may need help troubleshooting stuff. So that's a good area to start. And like you said, grind right there and lay the foundation for you, go through the fire a little bit, and then eventually grow from there.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I think I would just kind of recommend is once you get your first foot in, talk to these networking guys, talk to these cybersecurity guys, talk to these developers, because more than likely they'll be willing to kind of bring you on the shadow or kind of involve you in projects, and that's definitely going to go a long way, especially if, let's say, in the future, you want to be a networking engineer or you want to be a cybersecurity engineer. Just kind of already making those relationships with those people can go a long way. Like maybe when that person leaves and they think, oh, well, let's say, Luis has shown interest in networking or in security, maybe we can kind of bring him on to, fill that void. So it's definitely, like I said, just ask questions, be ambitious about things, and things will fall into place for you.
Being in this field, you learn right away that people are willing to help you because they will also help too. And that's one thing I really like about working in the industry.
That WannaCry ransomware. The guy that stopped at Malware Tech. I've actually spoken to him on Twitter. He was more than willing to talk to me. And
nice.
I had some incidents where we had some ransomware in one of my companies, and I reached out to the head of Cisco Talos IR team guy. He was more than willing to help me out, and we had a good conversation about what I can do, kind of what my options were essentially. So I think just reach out. Don't be afraid. I can tell you that there's a lot of very smart people in this field, and there's a lot of people that, like you mentioned, like that are willing to help you out and kind of lend you a hand or take you under their wing. And that's, I think, one of the best things you can do in this field. Kind of takes I guess just have a mentor or have someone that you can talk to and kind of have them take you under their wing, and you'll explode. Your skills will grow because you have someone that knows what they're talking about, and they'll bounce ideas back and forth. You can kind of talk about things, and so just make a good network, have a good network of people, and show ambition, and definitely it'll take you places.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So true. And Luis, what can people find you on social media? Ask you any questions, particularly how to get into IT or cybersecurity fields.
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter or X now. Facebook, I guess if you don't have me on Facebook.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I would say the best place to reach me is probably LinkedIn or X now. I'm very active on both, just because I like to, network with people, kind of talk to different people. So it's kind of one of the most active, I would say. Or Discord, if you want to add me on Discord.
Nice.
That's also where I'm pretty active. I'm in try to keep up with different communities and stuff, and keep in touch with people. So I guess that's big. You gotta network. You gotta kind of reach out to people. I feel like that's the thing that will help you the most above degrees, above certifications, is just reaching out to people, talking to them, kind of building those relationships with people. That's really huge. And I mean, in my story, in my case, that's kind of what happened with me. I kind of just met with the right people.
Thank you, Luis, for being on this first episode of the CyberTech Podcast. I really appreciate Luis taking your time. Yeah. I know we almost became coworkers, but definitely wanted to network with you, and I really consider you as a good friend
I appreciate you having me on, man. It's really an honor. Like I said, I know this is episode 1, but I know there'll be many great episodes coming down the pipeline. So,
but no, man, I appreciate that. Thank you for coming to this podcast. Episode number 1 in the books. Luis Garcia Jr., Networks Systems Administrator at Yuma County Sheriff's Office. Thanks again, Luis. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your insights, and appreciate that, brother. All right, guys, thank you for listening to the podcast. And until next time, this is CyberTech Podcast, inside the minds of everyday IT and cyber pros.